Kenneth Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
We have learned that Barbara Webb has been engaged in a very interesting project for some 17 years, if I'm correct. And we heard about this, so we came to see for ourselves, and she is here with all kinds of little pieces of paper and notebook and pictures and what all. What do you call this project?
Kennett High School history.
From
I got my first information from 1886.
now this was the year you graduated?
Not hardly.
Okay.
I graduated in 1959.
All right. Okay. But 1886. Where did you happen into history about 86?
I was looking on the microfilm and I came across the
Okay. Now you have information and pictures what from the Democrat for all of these years that relate to school history.
Yes.
Now you anything jump out from your mind as something that we surely need to think about getting? Now, Elvis Miller, has Elvis Miller been in business since what
This
year?
was in 1955.
Oh, okay.
I got this because Kennett's split term is ended by board. I was a country girl. I went in the colony school, Little Ely, and we had split term because we
You
had
had your own school out in the colony?
Yes. It
Well,
was
now we
called
went
Little
split
Ely.
term at Cardwell through my high school days.
Okay,
Oh,
now
really?
that brings up something else about
Okay, what do you
her
want to
parents.
know?
What about her parents? Why are they out there?
Okay, you said that you lived in the colony.
Yes.
Now, we have tried to look up when the colony came into existence, why it was called a colony, but for whom those houses were built. Was it built for farm labor? Was it built for, what do you know about it?
I was told, well, I know that my dad bought the first house out there, not the first one, but he bought the houses before anyone else lived in it, and he paid $700 for it. And it was supposed to be for farmers with families, and it was for those that were poor, that couldn't get housing otherwise.
Had they been maybe sharecroppers that were displaced?
Not
because-
sharecroppers.
No.
They were people that lived in Kennett. You had to prove that you were living in Kennett, and you could buy one of them.
Okay, but you didn't have to be a farmer?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
All
because
right.
my dad was a bricklayer.
Okay, all right.
But the first house we lived on 27 Dunklin on the north side, and I have the original deed and the original copy where my dad bought the house, and it was $700. In the late 40s, because it wasn't very old. I was 4.
The house is built in the late 40s.
Uh-huh.
Now, do I not remember that there was a central wash house,
Yes.
house that people could go, well, to wash, but did they not have instruction there about how to can food?
Yes. My mother, they had a pressure canner that was
Yeah.
given to them. They had a rub board that was given to them.
A rub board?
A rub board.
Yeah.
And but the building over called the wash house on the south side of the school building, that had a kind of like a concrete. These were little rubble things you could wash. They
Uh-huh.
were smooth,
Uh-huh.
but you didn't have to take your rub board over there because I went many times and washed clothes. But you filled your tub up over there, and there was a water tower there that you used, and it was real good drinking water. But you could wash over there. You could can.
You drank before you washed the socks?
Yes, that's what we did.
Okay,
yes.
all right, good.
But we had split term because we got out for cotton picking.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get out for cotton chopping, but we did for cotton picking.
Did you wash with lye soap?
Yes, but I also I washed my hair with lye soap and rinsed it with rainwater.
Well, all right.
They wouldn't do that today for anything.
Oh,
Your
no.
hair was very shiny and magical when you done that.
Yes.
We have a
you not,
beautician over there. She's looking at me.
did you save the rainwater to
Yes.
rinse your hair in?
Yes.
Well, I've done that too.
Yeah.
See, we go back. We go back quite a way. She doesn't go back as far as I do, but anyway. So split term ends.
In 4755, in 1955.
Okay.
Uh,
and that was the colony split term. Kennett, the North School, high school, was not split term.
Well, when I got into the 6th grade, when I first went to my city school with Shelton, and I was talking about, I wonder if we'll get out for cotton picking. These other kids didn't know what I was talking about, and so that's why I didn't think they got out. The city kids got out
Okay.
for a split term.
Okay.
But I really didn't go indulge back then, but I'm going to ask some more.
Okay.
Because it's interesting to me, because, you know, they said they didn't know what I was talking
Oh, yeah.
about.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
when I got in the 6th grade, I was ready to pick cotton again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But this is what it was in 55 when it quit. But this is Ely. This is Big Ely. This is where I went in the 5th grade,
Big Ely.
where
There was a
Masterson
big-
School sits now.
Oh, okay.
It was called Big Ely. The one in the colony was called Little Ely, and it went from primary through the 4th grade. Big Ely went 5th and 6th grade,
Okay.
and I was there in the 5th grade.
Okay. So you went to.
But this gave what the picture of it, and I thought it was interesting.
Okay, now, instead of Big Ely, they're calling it West Ely. But I imagine all the students called it Big and Little. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because, well, they wanted us to know where they went.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the new Ely to allow students in the area to attend classes near their home. And I didn't get to read all of this, but anyway, I got this out of the paper of 1956. I blew it up so people could see.
And this
The
will
writing
just
better.
be here to be available for you to walk in. Now, what do you have on these sheets?
Okay, these sheets are, I've written the names out of these people here. This is the first picture that I got off the microfilm that had Kennett High School of 1886.
Now, you think that this was everybody that was there, freshmen through?
No, I imagine this
Oh,
was
well, they
some-
only went to the 8th grade in
Right.
1886.
Yeah, they only went to the 8th grade. But I'm sure these were only ones that, because all through here you'll see are the ones that was perfect attendance with no tardy. That's the only names that I got off of the microfilm.
Oh, okay.
But it was still interesting to know because those went on to graduate out of the 8th grade up to 1900. And then
Okay.
they had to go to the 10th, and that was for several years, and then they had to start going through the 12th. And I do know in 1917 they had to go to the 12th grade.
By 1917.
By
So sometime
1917.
between 1886, they had to go through the 12th grade by 1917. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And that yearbook, of course, takes you through
Yes,
everybody there.
right.
All right. So
But these are the names, and this is who they married. And the top number, the top date is the one they married. This is when Ernest A. Baldwin was born to 1878. He married Kara Mays, 5/6/1900. He died June the 16th, 1959, and they're buried in Oak Ridge Cemetery.
what a marvelous thing for genealogy people to be able to look through here.
Yes.
But you have a few gaps.
I have a few gaps because a lot of people moved away. Some of them they had back in the paper. You know, back then it wasn't the funeral home contacting the paper. An individual did to get an obituary put in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of the gaps are here.
Okay. Now, I know you have a notebook with just obituaries.
Well, no, all of these. See, all
Are
of these.
obituaries in here, too?
Yes. Those that I have. they're
Oh,
Papa
okay.
Bones.
All right.
He graduated in 1888. He was in this first school in 1888. He didn't graduate then, but this is the
Paul
first school.
Baldwin, right.
But see, this is what I've written on top of these. These were the names found in Kennett Clipper paper. There were no graduates mentioned. It only stated school report and those who made an average of 90 or more in the departments. So these are the ones that was not absent, not tardy, and made at least 90 in the
Okay.
departments that they were in, the grades they were in. But I put his obituary because this is where his name was first put. But he graduated in 1898. I've put out here to the side, Paul Baldwin graduated then. But I put it here because this is the first place that his name was shown in my records.
In your records
Yes.
from the school, all right? And here,
And
of
this is
course,
how I got
that's how you got a lot of your,
my names, because I went to the paper over here on the microfilm and the school reports, and I just went down. They're very hard to read,
yes, they are.
but I took these names and put them here so it'd be easier for people to come in and look at.
Well, no wonder it's taken you 17 years to put this all together.
Yes.
This is a marvelous thing. All right.
Yes.
Many people that are watching, we sometimes play some old things, and they love to see their doctors on, and may even, she said, I may even shed a few tears over this, seeing some of these. He died what year?
71.
In 71.
At
Okay.
91.
At 91.
At 91.
All right. Okay.
And see, these are empty pages also because there is nothing on microfilm.
But
Hopefully,
you think people are gonna be, with information's gonna be forthcoming, and you're ready for it?
I hope so. I hope so. But see, I've gotten just different pictures from the paper. This was a class of 1894, and it has names, but it doesn't say anything about school. It just said, referred to by E.P. Carruthers, then editor of this newspaper in 1894. These young ladies that day made it the frying size crowd.
Frying
So I don't know
size.
what the frying size, I know it's a musician because they've all got instruments of some kind.
So, well, yeah.
Eva Gregory's there,
Okay.
Lula Harkey Ledbetter's there.
But we don't know.
But this is just something that I don't have
Right.
names.
You have 1894.
Mhm.
So you know the date,
Mhm.
but you don't know if it was school, if it was a municipal thing.
Right.
Okay.
But I wanted to put it in the 94 place
Mhm.
so that people can come in and look at it. The 95, I didn't have anything.
I can
except
see this is
this.
going to be added to for years to come.
Yes, this is the idea of it.
Kennett
This
Baseball
is-
Club.
Mhm. And this
Mhm.
was 1895. So I put it under the 1895. So she said there's going to be a scanner, and they're going to scan all this work, so there'll be an original. But then there'll still be this book down here. And if anybody adds, we can put it in up there also.
Right, you've been listening to Barbara Webb. She has a wealth of, a treasure trove of information, and it's going to be in the genealogy room at the Dunklin County Library. She's worked 17 years on this, and if you have any interest in looking up some things, come into this room. Now, you don't have it finished yet.
No,
Do you take these home with you now?
I will take them home, yes, because they will not be here until we can get them scanned to make sure we have another record.
Okay.
Because, like I say, I can't afford to go back and make more copies. So if they get this scanned, each book will be here for people to look at as it gets scanned.
Okay.
This one will be ready. This is finished.
And what are you going to do with Ed Mead's?
I'm taking it right back to him as soon as you leave this building.
All right. Good. Good.
I'm not going to keep it in
That's good.
possession any
Okay.
longer. Well, we thank you.
You have been watching Time for Talk. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Each evening, Monday through Friday at this time, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community.